Hello everyone. This is test automation session using Selenium and Java, and this session is being sponsored by the Buddha Tree. We have a blog also, the buddhatree.blogspot.in. So in case if you want to know about the latest happening in test automation QA technology, then please subscribe to our blog. This slide talk about the table of content. So basically in next few minutes I will be talking about these topics. So the first thing is, what is test automation and why? Right? Who should learn it? Why to learn Selenium? Because there are multiple tools in market. Why should I learn Selenium? How to learn? Talks about the different learning methodology available. Selenium Overview, about the different aspect and capabilities of Selenium tool, a quick Selenium demo, and the training syllabus. So what are the different topics we should cover in Selenium? And finally a question and answer session. In that session I will be talking about your queries. Now, the first item of the day is, what is test automation and why? If we go by the test automation definition, test automation is a use of special software to emulate user action on software which is under test, and the comparison of actual outcomes with expected outcomes or behavior. So in other words, I can say that in test automation, the test automation tool emulates the end user activity on the application. It captures the behavior or state shown on the application, and then it compares the same with the expected outcome. Expected outcome generally be passed through the test data file, so it compares with the test outcome with the expected condition, and then makes a decision: pass, fail, false, wrong. Basically pass, fail, just to inform the test automation developer, the QA engineer, that this condition has failed. Now, why do we need test automation? The testing stuff exists since many years, and since we have been doing quite well without even the test automation. Now, since last few years, the agile methodology is being used across the industry. Even if your current project is using SDLC like waterfall method or any other, very soon you will have the agile methodology in project delivery. Out of many good thing about agile, the one is that we try to deliver the application in a multiple release cycles, and we call that a sprint. A general sprint is of duration 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or at max 4 weeks. Now, the challenge for QA engineer is that in that 2-week sprint duration or release cycle, we get builds twice or thrice. And as a QA engineer, I am required to validate that build, that everything is working fine, right? So basically we have a very short QA duration, and we have to complete all the testing. So the one strategy that QA engineers apply is that they automate all the repetitive tasks like smoke testing, regression testing, and whatever the tasks which are repeatable, they automate them, and they save the time, they save the manual tester time for the more elusive business bugs, right? So this is how they try to cover the testing as much as possible, right? Now the next slide talk about who am I. So basically many times I get a question from the audience that who should learn Selenium or who should be a QA, right? So that's why I have added this slide. So who am I? I could be a beginner to IT, to software industry, looking to start a career in QA. I'm already working in IT but moving to QA. maybe I'm working in software industry, but in some other departments like support, tech support, BPO, calls, others, I want to move to QA. I'm in manual QA and want to make career in test automation. I'm already a Selenium automation engineer. I may have worked in some projects as a team member, have been involved in writing scripts. I want to learn the advanced Selenium concepts like framework designing and other advanced concepts like working with mouse, keyboard, working with multiple browsers, handling the Ajax call and other aspects. So this training syllabus which I have designed is suitable for all of these kinds of audience. So from a beginning, from a scratch, we start from a scratch to learning this Selenium, and then we cover till the advanced topics of Selenium. Now you want to, again, a question always comes in my mind, that why to learn Selenium and why to be in QA. There are multiple job domain in IT industry. Why should I remain with the QA? As per the Forbes company, which every year Forbes company does a job satisfaction survey in USA market. As per Forbes, software QA is the happiest job in US. Let me take you to the next slide where we will talk about it. So this is the screenshot I have taken, snapshot I have taken from the Forbes website. So software quality assurance engineer has the highest level of job satisfaction. Right. So apart from the monetary gain and world's physical achievements, at the end of the day we want to be a very happy person. So it is good to be in quality assurance department. A million of people are already in this field, so it is a vast industry, so you can join and have a long lasting and stable career. Selenium gives you an edge and increases the job chances. See, to be frank, all of us are trying to learn new technology so that we can get a good job, a better paying job, and even in our current organization we should get we should work in a good project. So Selenium is a tool which gives you this opportunity. As of now, Selenium is the most popular test automation tool in the market. See, if you have good skill on Selenium tool, your chances of getting a new job, or your chances of getting a better job, or your chances of getting working in a good project is higher. I won't say Selenium is the only way to get the success, but Selenium is one of the most demanded skill as of now. Now again, what to learn in Selenium, right? So basically I always focus that apart from learning the tools and technology, we should also develop the attitude. So basic objective is that how to think like an automation engineer. So today you are working on Selenium, tomorrow you will be working on some other tool. So the basic first thing in this training session is that we will teach you how to think, behave like an automation engineer. Element identification. If you ask any of the automation developer who has been in this trades for a time, the 90% of all errors happen because of the element locator. Identify the unique object. If you are unable to identify the unique object, your script will fail to run. Now choose programming language. As we know that Selenium tool supports multiple programming languages, it is an open-ended tool, so it supports many ecosystems. Which programming language should we go for? If you go on the Selenium website, seleniumhq.org, you will find that it allows to write the scripted programming language like Java, C#, Python, Perl, JavaScript. Now one advantage of working in Selenium is that it does not force you to write script in a particular programming language. Whatever language you know, like Java, C#, Python, Perl, you configure the Selenium and start writing the Java, start writing the script in your known programming language. Right. In this training syllabus, we will cover the Java programming language. We will implement the Selenium with Java programming language. And I always believe that whatever decision, whatever work we are doing, our decision should always be backed by a sound logic. And I have certain reason why I have selected Java for implementing with Selenium. As of now, in current market, the 80% of Selenium implementation is happening with Java. Right? So chances of getting the projects with Java is little higher than any other programming language. Java is a very popular programming language and it is in market quite since few years, and finding the resource on Java is quite easy. First, finding the human resource who knows the Java programming language is easy. Second, finding the working program on Java programming language is also easy. And third, if you're stuck at any point, troubleshooting or finding or debugging the program is again easy with the Java. And in my experience, I have seen comparatively Java is easier to learn than any other programming language like Python, Perl and C#. Now, in order to write the script, we need an editor or IDE, basically integrated development environment. This is not a mandatory thing. We can write the script in a plain notepad file and save as a Java file, but that will not be optimal use of our capability. Right. So we need an intelligent editor which provides us the capability to write the code quickly, compile it, which also auto-populates the methods available in the program in the programming language in the class, which also helps us debugging the program, like highlighting the syntax error and again debugging the missing library, highlighting the missing library issue. So there are two editors available in Java world. One is Eclipse and second is IntelliJ. Let me note down it. First is Eclipse and second is IntelliJ. Both the tools provide the similar capability. My personal favorite is Eclipse, reason being its easy user interface. If you want to implement your project with IntelliJ, that is absolutely fine. In terms of UI and capability, both are at par. Now we also need to learn a test automation framework. You know the Selenium tool, you know how to interact with the browsers, you know how to perform operation on the web objects, but then you need to customize your knowledge or Selenium solution in a automation framework which provides the minimum maintenance effort, which requires the minimum maintenance effort, easy script writing, again creating the different execution suite like regression suite, smoke suite, functional suite and many others based on the project requirement. So creating a test automation framework, knowing how to create a test automation framework is necessary. More advanced concepts like working on multiple browsers, working on handling the alert, working on different browsers like Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer and many other things, working on keyboard mouse activities, working on floating menu bar, all these things will be covered. And this again working on the synchronization point and everything will be covered. And as if you are learning Selenium, we should learn so many things, right? Now we have decided that we are learning Selenium, and what should we learn in Selenium? We have an agreement on that. Now how to learn? I would say that I am the only guy and you should learn only from me. There are multiple ways to learn. The traditional and the most popular way is book, reading a book. Advantage of book is that it is easy to read, low cost. You buy a book, start reading, your learning curve starts. Disadvantage is that access to good book is difficult, especially for open source technologies. It provides only the theory. If at any point you are stuck, you are not able to understand a concept, there is no tech support which can help you. Right. The next thing is that now we live in the era of Google, YouTube. So everything is available on web. You can search it without even spending any money. You can search, you can see the video tutorials. But the problem with internet is that the information is scattered across the internet. So to learning something, it requires a lot of energy and time. You will need to search, dig again, search again, go through it, search again and do it. You have to work very hard, and it may happen that you may not be able to cover the whole syllabus by searching on the internet. The third way and the quickest way is training. So getting a help from the professional who have worked in industry or have quite a good experience in industry on implementing, working on Selenium tool. The advantage is that it will be quick learning curve and in a structured manner. You will get to know about the many practical problems and their solution. Disadvantage is that you will have to spend some money. Few zero will be deducted from your bank account, but learning curve will be fast. Again, when selecting the training, I would suggest that go with the professionals, don't go with the training institution which generally don't have good trainers. Now talking about the Selenium overview and Selenium syllabus. So when we talk of Selenium is not a one tool, it is a family of tools. Let me show you with the help of this pictorial diagram. So Selenium is a family of tools. Now let me show you. This is Selenium. Let me draw a small diagram. Just bear with me for a few seconds. First item here, second here, and then third here. Okay. So if you have ever worked in any test automation tool, right, or Selenium IDE. So all test automation tool provides the record and playback feature. Now, what is record and playback feature? You switch on the recording mode, perform a end-to-end business scenario on your application, stop the recording mode. The recorder will generate a script for the actions you have performed on the application. Now, whenever you will run your script, it will exactly perform the same action on the application. Now, so Selenium IDE or Selenium Integrated Development Environment is a tool inside the Selenium family which provides a record and playback capability. It is a Mozilla Firefox add-in. It means it works only on the Mozilla Firefox. You need to install it on the Mozilla Firefox tool. It's simple to install. Go to the Firefox and go to the seleniumhq.org, download, and here is the IDE. Here is the IDE. You can click on here and it will get installed here, right? And once it is installed, it will show something like this. Unfortunately, I don't have IDE installed on my machine. I will show you. Now, Selenium IDE provides the capability to record and playback your scripts. Now, you can record only on Mozilla Firefox. You can run your script across the browsers, right? Again, people may say that if record and playback is available, why should I go for learning a programming language and for the advanced concepts like creating the automation framework and etc. Now, as we know that recording has its own limitation. It works fine if you have a small set of test cases. If your test case does not involve complex steps, but it has limitations like You cannot add the condition here, you cannot have loops, but it is good if you want to create a quick script for the purpose of demo or for the purpose of creating a prototype. You can use the Selenium IDE. Now the next tool in Selenium family is Selenium 2 or WebDriver. Some people call it as a Selenium 2, some people call it as a Selenium WebDriver, some people call it as a simple WebDriver. Now this is the API available in Selenium, which provides all kind of capability like writing the script in any of the supported programming language like Java, C#, Python, Perl. It can also be integrated with with all kind of external Java world libraries like Apache POI for reading the data from the external files. It can be integrated with Jenkins. It can be used in the Eclipse and other editor. All kind of combinations, permutation, and any kind of capability creation we can do with the Selenium WebDriver. Now, this is the tool we should focus if you are seriously looking for automating an application using the Selenium. If your test cases are too high, 1000 to 500 or more than 1000 test cases, you want to do the parallel execution, you want script creation to be across the team, you have a large team, this is the tool we should focus. So we should know Selenium IDE, but our main focus should be Selenium WebDriver. As we will progress in the training session, we will learn more how to use it. Now next item is Selenium Grid. Now think from a perspective that your script is of 1000 test cases, and it takes around 10 hours to run the script. As I said earlier that in agile methodology we have a very limited QA window. So as a QA engineer we will always want that execution should happen as soon as possible, so that we get more time to analyze the result, log the defect, and so the developers will also get more time to fix the defect and test at the end. Right. So our churn out speed will be faster if we are able to execute the test cases quickly. So Selenium Grid provides two capabilities, the distributed execution and parallel execution. So what you can do is you can break your 1000 script long automation suite in 4 parts, 250 each, and run the script parallelly. So what will happen that your execution time will be now reduced to 2.5 hours. Another use of Selenium Grid is that your application supports multiple browsers like Firefox, IE, Chrome, and any others. You can run your script at the same time across the browsers. So in same time, your test case will be executed across the browsers, and you will get the results. Now, think from a perspective of, or take an example of Flipkart.com. They have a website which they support on almost all the browsers like Firefox, current browser, latest version as well as one old version, Google Chrome latest version as well as one old version, Internet Explorer latest version as well as an old version, right? And same way they may have been supporting some of the mobile browsers. And on a typical day, Flipkart deploys around 4 patches on the production without having a single second downtime, right? So they use this Selenium Grid to configure a QA lab in their company, and each machine they have configured. They have configured multiple machines. One machine having the operating system combination of Windows 7, Firefox version 45, another will have the Firefox version 44, another machine will have the Internet Explorer, another machine will have the Chrome. And at the same time execution will be triggered across the machines, across the browsers, and the result will be collected at the central location. So that is the power of Selenium Grid. It provides the parallel execution capability, which helps us in reducing the execution time, right? Now, talking about Selenium overview, now we will create a small script using the Selenium. So this is the Eclipse. As I had said earlier that in order to work on Selenium, we need to install Java. For installing the Java steps are simple. Go to google.com and type download Java. Open the first link and download the JDK 32-bit or 64-bit version based on your machine configuration. Install it. Once JDK is installed, then it is done. Now once we have JDK installed, then we go and install the Eclipse. Again, type in Google Chrome, download Eclipse, go to Eclipse website and download Eclipse IDE for Java developer. You do not require all the fancy Eclipse. We need a simple Eclipse IDE for Java developer. Again, 32-bit or 64-bit based on your machine configuration you need to download. Once you download the Eclipse is not an installer. It will download as a compressed file, something like let me show you this. Now you need to extract it. Once you extract it, it will come something like this. You need to double click on this Eclipse icon and Eclipse IDE will be launched. Now, in order to create a Selenium script, first we need to create the Java project, a simple plain Java project. So go to File, go to New and select the option Java project. Give it a name Selenium 24 April. Now leave the rest of the things as by default. This is the location where your code will be saved. So give it as a default. Click on next. Click on finish. And you can see a Selenium 24 April Java project has been created here. Now as we know that Selenium tool is configured, so we need to configure the Selenium jar file in my Java project so that I can write and execute the Selenium scripts. So we have a website seleniumhq.org. This is the website which holds or hosts all the information about Selenium tool. Go to the download section and refer the Selenium standalone server. Click on this download. 2.53 is the latest version. Click on save file. It will take some time based on your internet speed. It will download the jar file. Now once the jar file is downloaded, we need to integrate or source that jar file in our project. So the step is simple. Right click on the Selenium 24 April project, go to properties. I repeat, right click on the project name and then select the properties. Select the option Java build path. You will see it here, the JRE and blah blah. Click on add external jars. Now browse to the location where you have saved your jar file. So it could be in your downloaded folder, it could be somewhere else. So I am selecting it from Selenium server standalone 2.52. Okay. Now once you click on OK, you will see entry something like here. Click on OK. And if you remember earlier it was showing only JRE, now it is showing the reference library also. And you can see it here, jar is added. Now in order to create the Selenium script, we need to create Java program, a Java class file. So right click on the source, go to new, select the option class and give it a name like first program. Select your public static void main, click on finish. So once we will start through the Selenium training, we will learn what are these different things, how to create the class file, what is Selenium, what is public static void main method. Now what we will do is that we will write a simple code to launch Firefox browser, to start Firefox browser, load Facebook URL and read the title and URL of the page. The first thing is that I need to write Firefox driver equal, let me copy it. So this is how we create a new class in Java using the new keyword. Now driver will load. Now we need to launch the URL. So in order to launch the URL, copy the complete URL. When I say copy the complete URL, so you should write the URL along with the protocol like HTTPS, HTTP, www. If you will change it, like if you write only www, it will not work. If you write this way, it will not work. And why? There is a certain reason behind that. The Selenium uses the HTTP or HTTPS protocol to transport the data. So your URL should be complete. When I say complete, it means HTTP or HTTPS based on your website / www.facebook.com. Now once URL is loaded, once Facebook is loaded, I want to verify that I was trying to open Facebook. Is it opening the Facebook, or it is opening some other site, or it is not at all doing anything? So what is the best way to do it? In testing, what we do, we perform some input step, then we capture some data from the application, and then we compare the data with our expected conditions. So how to capture the data from the applications? I will get the current URL first, and then I will get the title. So what I am doing is I am basically getting the URL and title from the current browser. So this will ascertain that what application was opened in the browser. So just let me add some cosmetic text here. The system.out.println is a Java syntax which is basically used to display something on command prompt. Now let me run this script. So to run the script, it is simply right click on the class file, select run as Java application. Now we will see the magic. First it will open the Firefox browser, and then it will load the URL facebook.com, and then it will read the title and URL and print that on the console. Now you can see earlier console was blank, so now it has printed URL facebook.com and the title Facebook login or sign up. So this is one of the simplest script which can be written in Selenium. As we will progress our learning process on Selenium, we will write the all sort of complex script. Now talking about the Selenium syllabus, so I would suggest you to go to my blog, the buddhatree.blogspot.in, go to the search and search here Selenium training syllabus. Now open this link, Selenium training syllabus. So in our Selenium training offering, we will talk about introduction to Selenium, the brief history of Selenium, what are the different tools available in Selenium, what are the supported browser environment supported, advantage, limitations, how to pick a programming language, how to choose an editor, defining a test strategy for automation. Now we will also talk about how to configure the Selenium, install Java, install Eclipse, install Firefox, Firebug, Firepath, all kind of configuration stuff we will talk about, which is required to run, to write, to create, debug and run the Selenium script. Again we will talk about the core Java aspects like the how to write the Java program, variables in Java, if, conditions, loop, array, function, one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, variable array, local variables, global variables, static variables, concept of inheritance, concept of encapsulation, how to implement encapsulation, again how to use the polymorphism. We will also talk about the exception handling part, how to do the exception handling using the Java. We will talk about the collection object, because many times we are needed to fetch the objects in bulk from the application. We need a dynamic collection, so we'll also talk about the dynamic collection. We will talk about the Selenium ID, how to create a test case, a test suite, how to run it, how to record it, how to export the script recorded on ID to WebDriver, how to create, how to do the verification, assertion. Again, we will talk about the Selenium WebDriver, what is WebDriver interface, what is web element interface, how to debug the error, how to make you self-sufficient in troubleshooting the Selenium error, the object locator. As I had spoken earlier, that object locators are one of the important aspects in script writing. So what are the different object locators we could use in Selenium, and how to write them, like ID, class name, XPath, CSS, each and everything. How to write a dynamic locator, and how to identify a dynamic object. We will also talk about the Selenium useful and common methods, working on Firefox, working on Chrome browser, working on IE browser, working on form elements, like how to work on the different elements like text, label, checkbox, radio button, combo box, date calendar, how to perform operation on them. We will talk about the Apache Maven. This is basically a dependency management tool. So most of the time what happens that you created the script on your machine, you find the script is working absolutely fine. When you export that script to your client machine, it starts throwing the error. And what happens that you may have a different version of library file, your client may have the different version of library file, especially in case of open source tool, when the release date of libraries are very frequent. Once in a month they release a new version of library files having the new fixes, new feature. And again, we have hundreds of open source library files that we use in a Selenium project. So it's a very difficult task to maintain and track the history. Now what does the Apache Maven provides is that we create a form.xml file, we give the list of jar files required, we also write down the version numbers required. So what will happen that when you export your code to someone else's machine, your client machine, the Apache Maven will check for the jar files. If the jar files are available on machine, absolutely fine. If required version of jar files are available, no action required. If jar files are missing or required version of jar files are missing, it will connect to the internet, it will download the jar files, and it will source the jar files in your project. Only prerequisite is that you should have an internet connection. So Apache Maven prevents a lot of error which could have come because of the library versioning. We will also talk about the TestNG framework. TestNG framework is a unit testing framework which helps us to control the flow of execution in the Selenium script. It also helps us to generate a nice report. It also helps us to create the multiple test suite inside our framework, like a smoke suite, regression tools, functional suite. It also helps us to group our test cases or tag our test cases as a functional test, regression test, a smoke test. So we will also learn in detail the TestNG framework. We will talk about the Selenium grid, how to configure the grid, what is hub, what is node, how to run your script on top of grid, how to configure grid on your machine, how to run the script. We will talk about the working on advanced WebDriver, working on synchronization technologies, Ajax. Also talk about the wait, taking screenshot, implicit, explicit wait, handling the pop-up, handling the certificates. We will talk about the page object model. What is page object model? What is its benefits? Why we need the page object design pattern in Selenium? Then we will also talk about how to create a framework using Selenium WebDriver, Java, TestNG, Apache POI. Apache POI is basically a tool or a library which provides the capability to read or write data from external files. For example, you want to pass the test data using a Microsoft Excel file, then Apache POI is the one which could facilitate it. Maven we have already discussed. Jenkins is basically a continuous integration tool, so you can schedule the execution if you're a script, plus you can add your automation script in the build deployment pipeline. So what happens that whenever the build deployment is triggered, upon the successful completion of build deployment, your test execution will be triggered, and in few hours we will get the execution result. The advantage of using or integrating your script with Jenkins is that we get to know about the application health in a very quick time. So that's all. And again, before we will start with the every class, we will have a question and answer session, doubt clearing session basically. So that's all from the Selenium syllabus. Now it's time to question and answer session. Thank you. And in case you want to reach back to us, then you can visit our blog, you can like our YouTube channel, you can like us in Google Plus, you can also join our Google QA group, you can like our Facebook page, and in case you want to write to us, it is simple, buddha31@gmail.com. So feel free to write about this demo. Feel free to write about anything, any questions regarding the Selenium demo, learning Selenium framework, etc. Thank you.